Hello, everybody. I'm Zach Bradshaw with Blaze Radio, and we are here with the fabulous Jason Carney, who is organizing the Phoenix Film Festival. The Phoenix Film Festival is Phoenix's annual film festival, happens in the beginning of April, kind of March, springtime area. And man, Jason, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. But this year is a big year for you guys. I mean, coming off of a very successful year last year with the Phoenix Film Festival, it just seems like it's getting bigger and bigger, but you've had your hands full. You've been organizing all the show times, the movie theaters. I mean, everything that goes into planning an event. You've had so much work to do, I can imagine. But what has it been like so far, kind of organizing this event? I know you're busy, but what's all that goes into it?
Yeah, it starts, way back. We've been taking submissions since like July or August, and then, I think I was starting to watch films. I don't watch a ton of films. I watch maybe 20 films max, if that. But we started picking up our higher profile films, and so that's kind of my bigger thing in terms of like programming. We have different program directors doing all these films, but I'll handle most of the showcase and centerpiece titles. I was working on that, figuring out like our marketing plan, all of our posters. Of course, this is all old poster stuff, but our new posters are also very cool. And so, rolling all those pieces out and dealing with like things like getting our merchandise ordered and making all those key decisions, getting our website built, dealing with marketing and all the very exciting financials. But working with studios and distributors on, working out figure which films we could acquire, which films we could show at the festival, how many times, and all that stuff, and then building this massive schedule of 288 events. And we have some great people on our team that take care of so many other parts of that, and that's not even including like the parties and everything that goes on. And Sam, our managing director, she takes care of all of the party activities, so I don't have to jump into that side of things too often. Oh, and sponsors. Working with all the sponsors. So it's very busy, a lot of different moving pieces, but we're getting there. We're gonna have our programs all arrive tomorrow, and that's just another big step.
I'm sure incredibly busy time of the year for you. This is like the Phoenix Film Festival Super Bowl. Like this is the big event, and so it
This
goes
is
on
it. It's
for.
the biggest film event in Arizona of the year.
Well, and that's exactly so. I mean, like in your, I mean, I'm sure there's so much special about the Phoenix Film Festival. You've been organizing it for a couple of years now. You have really done a great job of getting this event off the ground. But you mentioned it's the biggest in Arizona, obviously. But what makes the Phoenix Film Festival so special?
I think it's a cause and effect thing. One thing that separates us from most festivals our size is that everything happens in one location. We have, anywhere from like 4 to 7 screens running at once. It's all at the Harkins Scottsdale 101. Our parties, we have a big tent opening weekend that we have our opening night party, our Friday night industry night party, and our film prom Saturday night party. All that happens in the tent just outside the theater. Our ticketing office is right on the just 7 doors down from the theater, and even our second weekend parties happen at a restaurant, piano bar just outside the theater. So all that happens in one place. And if you go to a lot of cities of our size that have festivals, they might have one screening here, one screening over here, 3 miles away. Our parties like way is 7 or 8 miles away, and so you've got to take a bus to get to all those screenings, and you're wasting so much time moving between. You miss that like networking time and that hanging out time where you run into other where you have filmmakers running into each other, audience members, engaging with filmmakers, and it creates this amazing community. And that's where like the second part that comes along is my favorite part is seeing these filmmakers show their films to the audiences for the first time, and audiences you know getting on board. And everybody's, that's what's cool about the film festivals. Like everybody wants to see the next great thing. So from the get-go, everybody's on board with the film, and hopefully they'll love it at the end. And if not, they'll be very polite to the filmmaker who's there. But it's it's special, and having filmmakers there is, that's what separates a film festival from just going to the movies.
And you mentioned, the community there. It's a community of like creators, of visionaries, people that are trying to get their name out there. It's people who love movies. There's so many people that can kind of find a home at the Phoenix Film Festival. But Jason, how did you first find a home with the Phoenix Film Festival?
You know, it's an interesting story. The founders of the festival came up with the idea of the festival, and my best friend from high school, he was roommates with one of them, and he became the program director. He kind of called dibs on that, and so the festival came along, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come help out with this film festival?" I had no clue what a film festival was. 2001. I'm doing mostly doing theater at that time. I don't really care. I'm like, sure, we're gonna hang out. And so like we get there and it's like the first year and everybody's just kind of finding their way and figuring out things. And so Greg and I ended up like running the theater operations and moving, getting everything moving, making sure the films play and all that stuff. And, you know, I got hooked. And then from there, I just kind of worked my way up. And in 2005, I became the festival director and then shortly after the executive director. But those first 5 years, I was a volunteer, just like any of the volunteers on our team. And, you know, in 2005, I got burned out on my job in healthcare and I quit and I did this free for 6 months until there was a job. And so here we are, geez, 19 years later, and this is still my job. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, going on that 20-year anniversary, very exciting for you, very excited for the film festival. And this is just, I mean, at least, from what I've seen, this film festival has just gotten huge. I mean, there's literally so many films. I mean, you mentioned over 200 different events that take place across these, what was it, 10 days? And
Yeah,
so
11 days. Yeah.
11 days, there you go. I mean, just so much to see and so much to watch and so many great different events. But, I want you to fill in the blank here. This is a community of blank.
Film lovers. Because filmmakers love film goers love film. Everybody's here for the common cause, and that's you love going to the movies. Movies are what's cool about movies are for everybody. It's not. I mean, who's like, oh, I hate movies. There's a movie that you love. Just shut up. And you have like and going to the movies is like a memories. You're creating memories. Like I'm sure you remember like with whoever you'd go movies with when you were a kid. You like can remember probably specific titles, where you were, and all those things as you're growing up, and those continue to evolve as you get older. You get out of high school, you make friends, and then you're like, you remember movies you saw with your buddies or where you saw them, if you were sober or not. And then from there you're like first date. I remember my wife and I saw Elf on our first date. And yeah, and so now, and then our second date was a terrible movie called Gothica with Halle Berry. Terrible, but luckily there's a third date and it all worked out. And now we have a kid, and we bring him to the movies all the time. And he's 5 now. And like last year we went to see the Taylor Swift concert movie. He was really psyched about that because he loves music videos, and he was good for like 90 minutes of 3 hours, which is pretty impressive. So although he's so spoiled by streaming, we went home and the next day he woke up and he's like, oh, I want to finish watching that on the TV. And we're like, that's not how it works, buddy. But that's it. Like it's about making memories, and that's what happens at the festival. Our film goers and filmmakers, they make friendships, and we have filmmakers that make lifelong friendships, and they make networking things happen, and they end up working on films together in the future. They didn't know each other before they came to our festival.
That is so cool to meet. You can meet so many different people at the film festival. And last year I met just so many different actors and directors and actresses that I wouldn't have even, dreamed of meeting. I met just like an actress by the name of Olga Meredith. She is a very big actress. She was in a film last year. She helped direct a film last year. I mean, I met so many different people. But for the people who attend this film festival, what can they expect when they come to the Phoenix Film Festival?
I think those opportunities, as you experience, like the filmmakers and the actors, everybody behind the film, they're excited to be here and they want to talk about their films. They are accessible as ever. I was gonna curse there. But they're there to talk about their films, and they're so engaging and excited to be here. And so that's a really cool thing. And I think you can expect that. You can expect really great storytelling from, not only short films, but documentaries and narrative features and big films that you might see at the theaters not too far away. And so having that opportunity to see from like a local film made by a college student to a big budget, fairly big budget studio film that's going to be coming out. So I think getting to kind of experience from the from all the entire spectrum of films is a great part of it.
And you're right, so many different films to go watch. I know a lot of people are very excited about the horror and sci-fi film festival. It's just all about scary films and sci-fi films. There's a lot of interest in that one, very niche interest there. Let's talk about this branding though, because I mean, of all the different film festivals I've seen, I love the Phoenix Film Festival marketing. It looks so good. You obviously, just in your background, you have a reference of like Scott Pilgrim. This year we have a reference to Barbie. What's the process of like branding the Phoenix Film Festival?
Oh, sure. Like this year, we have, you mentioned Barbie, we have the Marilyn Monroe movie, 7 Year Itch, we have the horror sci-fi, we have Shining representing that genre, we have Superfly going back to the blaxploitation films of the 70s, and Reservoir Dogs, the Tarantino movie. So, what we do is we have 5 different volunteers that are designers. And so what happens in like September or so, we get together and just hang out, and it's like a tornado of ideas that happen. Like everybody's talking and just going back and forth. It's the craziest brainstorming idea. And I'm just like making notes, throwing my own ideas into this thing I'm writing. And we're looking for films that like represent different eras. So we don't have like one film, 5 films for the 90s or something like that. And this year we also spent some time thinking about the color scheme of the different posters and how they would play together within, different scenarios and how we could mesh them together. So that was kind of a fun thing. But, and then from there, like the directors, like, or the art designers, I'm like, here you go, do your thing. And then, month and a half later, 2 months later, they're like, here's our poster. And I'm like, usually I have like maybe 3 to 5 notes or so on each poster. They have the freedom. And I think that's what they love about it. Like, we're like, here's your movie, use Camerahead, our mascot, go. And it's really cool the things they come up with, and you get to see the progress as it goes sometimes. And I've seen like some of these posters just come from like out of nowhere over a weekend, like just Facebook chatting with the designer. And so like seeing they're just so creative and they give us their time, and we're so lucky to have them. And Marty Freitag's our art director. He oversees the whole process. And so once the designers have their posters finalized, he then uses those elements, to make our online graphics, our merchandise, our posters, or the big posters, our passes, all those different things. And so like it's great to have 5 different images to draw from leading up to it. And you're looking at like, okay, which one's going to go on this banner, which one's going to go on this banner, like who's going to be the cover of the program. It was Barbie, it was always Barbie. And that kind of stuff, and then we tie it in like our prom theme for Film Prom Party revolves around Barbie. It's like Camerahead's Dream House is the theme of the party. And so we want people to dress in pink and come to Film Prom. It's cool. I've got my pink shoes. I'm fired up. Yeah. And I think, that's the process. It's great. They're just talented people. Like could never in a million years do what they do. And I know it's good when I see it. When it's good, it's good. And when it's bad, it would make suggestions and stuff like that. I never thought I would ever know that, but I feel like I've got a pretty good eye for what we do now. And like, and we give them freedom. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like they're doing this on their own time. So do what you feel, do what you want to have fun with, and do what you think looks cool, and we'll work around that. And we'll like, oh, we need to have the website bigger. Like silly notes like that is what I usually have. So they're just great.
That is so incredible. Well, to kind of close it out here, you have worked on this, as you mentioned, for literally like a whole year. You have done so much event planning, so much into scheduling the events, the movies, watching the movies, getting so much prepared. But I mean, how excited are you to go and watch like the manifestation of all your hard work take place over these 11 days?
Yeah, it's really cool. I never watch a movie at the festival. Haven't done it since the first year. Once in a while, but I like pretty much pass through every screening. I'll do a walk through. So it's great to see the audience reactions, and so that's part of like that entertainment, watching the Q&As happen. And so that's where I get to like soak in, how great this event is. And I'll just host up at like the concession stand off to the side and just watch the crowds come and go, and talk to people. And that's my job during the festival, is to make sure everybody has everything they need, especially our filmmakers that we bring in from around the world, and just be there and be accessible to our audience members who have questions or what to see next and things like that. And I may not have seen all the films, but I have a good idea of people coming to the festival year in and year out. I know what they like, so that definitely helps. And it's cool to to see it like that opening night when we're in the big Seneca Capri Theater. And this year it'll be the movie Sing Sing. And when all that gets started, there's like a sigh of relief, but also knowing we have 285 more screenings to go. So there's that. But it's cool to kick it off.
Well, Jason, congratulations on this, on all this hard work. Viewers out there, you can go to the film festival. They will be from April 4 to 14 at the Harkins Theaters, Scottsdale 101. You can also find it online at phoenixfilmfestival.com. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time today. We really appreciate it, and can't wait to see the screening.
Can I tell you 2 movies they should see?
What'd you say?
I'm going to tell you 2 movies they should see.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Little
absolutely.
bonus footage here. They should see Babes, which comes from Neon Studios with Alana Glazer, and they should see a movie called Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, Frank. Very dark comedy, really hilarious. It's like Fargo-esque, but lighter. So there's that. So those are 2 like sneaky picks that they should come check out.
You heard it here first, folks. The films to go see are Babes and Mother, Daughter, Sister, Frank. Sounds just like absolutely incredible. Again, there's so many different films you can watch here. Dark comedy, scary movies, very serious films, romance. I mean, there's so much different films to go see at the film festival. And it's all going to be part of the Phoenix Film Festival here in about 2 weeks. And it's going to be very exciting. And I know the Valley cannot wait for it. And I personally cannot wait for it. So Jason, congratulations on this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.